for my funeral and for my arrangements. I shouldn't leave that burden for my children or for my grandchildren to have to worry about. They shouldn't even have to wonder how they're going to pay for it. It should already be paid for.
How smart is it to have insurance, King?
Very wise. That's an investment that you can't go wrong with. You're paying a little bit of premium for a big policy.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with it.
That's a great investment.
That's a good investment.
That's smart.
That's right. That's a legacy.
That's all right. Caroline, how smart is it to have a will?
Oh, very, John. We see chaos on a daily basis.
Okay.
And you don't have chaos in your life now, or shouldn't. So don't have chaos at your death. Leave that will, leave those instructions. So they simply pick it up, read it, or the person that you've entrusted to read it for them and let them know it's right there. Don't put them through that.
Pastor Eaton, is knowledge power?
Yes. Festus told Paul,
Okay.
he said, a little knowledge has made thee mad. But then the king came back and told him, he said, that almost persuaded me to be a Christian.
Isn't that something?
So
Almost.
almost, but not quite. I tell you, when you get to that almost, and the knowledge that you have about the Lord and the knowledge that you have about Jesus and telling others about him, it will convince them one way or another that he is who he say he is. And I thank God for Jesus.
So that knowledge is some power.
That knowledge is some power.
Pastor Body, is that knowledge some power?
Yes, it is, Brother John, because the gospel writer did say, for the lack of knowledge, my people perish. So without knowledge, you will perish. And with knowledge, you're powerful. You can overcome any obstacle that's set in front of you. You can have knowledge. It's sad to have knowledge and not use it.
Okay.
Yeah, but me personally, I'd rather have the knowledge and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Isn't that something? Carolyn, what's something everyone should know about funeral arrangements?
One of the things, John, that you should know is vital statistic information.
Okay.
There's not many people out there that come in that know their grandmother's maiden name.
Okay.
You need to know the Social Security number, date of birth, place of birth for your loved one.
Okay.
And then there's just not some information that people know. So we have to write that down. We know, Deborah stated earlier, I know about me. Nobody else knows about me. I know my mother's maiden name, but my children, my grandchildren may have never heard that.
Exactly.
And in our case, some of our grandchildren and great-grandchildren never knew mom, so they won't know that information.
Exactly.
So it is up to me to write it down. So that's one very, very important piece of information when families come in to make funeral arrangements.
So we know the funeral director is going to ask you, how far did your loved one go in school? What type of work did they do in life? Social Security numbers, date of birth, mother's maiden name, father's name. We know that's going to be asked every time.
Every time.
So what we're saying, the knowledge that we're trying to give to those who are watching us is to write that down, have that available for your family.
Exactly.
What's something everyone should know about funeral arrangements, Queen?
They should know how to contact the loved ones and friends that they want to come to their funeral services to show them their last respect. And a lot of times they don't know. People find out about it weeks after the person has already died.
I didn't know that person even passed away.
I know.
Or I read it in the paper, or somebody told me at the grocery store.
Right.
So we
that's
need a way of
important.
contacting friends and relatives.
So we can write all that down. And the good thing about it is we have what we call a gift of love.
Okay.
And what that is just 3 or 4 pages that you can write up where you can put your loved ones, the relatives, their phone numbers, people that you will want to come to your funeral services. The pastor that you want to do the eulogy can be written down. The clothing that you want to wear, your favorite scripture that you want, your favorite flowers. Some people like carnations, some people like tropical flowers, roses or whatever. All that can be right there so your family will know. And even better than that, you can pre-plan it and stipulate on the pre-need what type of flowers that you like.
So it's almost impossible for you to know all of my friends, the relatives that need to be contacted, unless I give you that information. A lot of people think you can just pick up my phone and go through it and find my friends and my relatives. Well, my phone has a lock on it, Pastor Body.
Exactly.
And when I pass away, I'm assuming the passcode is going to pass away with me.
And the thing about that, they won't give it to anybody else.
And if they call AT&T, AT&T is not going to give them my
Passcode.
Now, Pastor, what is it that you want to tell the public? What's important that they need to know about funeral arrangements?
Well, it's important, first of all, to know what funeral home you want to lose.
Okay.
That's the key important thing right there.
Because that's what's going to be asked if
That's
something
it.
happens.
That's it. You need to know what funeral home. You need to know that you need to have a pre-need and a will and insurance in place to go in there. That makes it so much easier when you have these things in order already at hand. And when you go in there, you need to not go in there second guessing your funeral director.
Okay.
Your funeral director should be professionally trained. He should have knowledge of his merchandise and his prices. He should know and should be able to help you go through that process ABC simple. And you should know that at Golden Gate Funeral Home, I'm going to give you some knowledge now. Golden Gate Funeral Home is a funeral home that you can call, and I guarantee you that you will have a professional licensed by the state of Texas funeral director to walk you through the process of all funeral arrangements, their knowledge of the merchandise that we sell, and they're very knowledgeable of the prices that we advertise.
King of pre-need, I know it's going to be hard to back up everybody on that. Well, what's one thing I need to know about my insurance? When I walk in there with that insurance, what is it that I need to know about insurance?
Well, when you first come in the door, you need to know who your beneficiary is.
Okay, I need to know who that beneficiary
Who the
is.
beneficiary
Okay.
is. How much is the policy worth?
You need to know how much money you have, and you need to know
How
that
much you
before the
have.
funeral director tells you.
That's right.
Before we
That's
call the
right.
insurance company and say, this is what they told us, you need to already know that.
And what I like to say is you can open up that policy, and all that information is in there. It's actually a duplicate copy of the policy in there.
Okay.
It's got the Social Security number on there. It's got the date of birth. It's got a number of different things, the height and weight of the person. So all that information is on there. So when you go into the funeral home, you have a lot of that. The Social Security, the date of birth will be on there, and the beneficiary, and the amount of the policy.
How old should a policy be, Queen?
At least 2 years and 1 day.
You need to know that before
need
you
to
walk
know
in there with that
before
policy.
you go into the funeral home.
You need to know when that policy was taken out. We call it
When
a
it was
date
issued,
of
right.
issue.
That's right.
And that's the most knowledge we can give somebody about an insurance. Know how much it is, know who the beneficiary is, and then know how long
They've
that
been
you
in.
had that policy. Know
That's
the
right.
date of issue. Go ahead.
Well, they also need to know that the beneficiary is still alive.
All right, that's important, isn't
They
it?
need to know that
Yeah.
beneficiary, make sure that beneficiary
Because
is
a
alive,
deceased person can't sign for a policy, can he?
and that they're not a minor.
Yeah, that makes a big difference because we didn't get into another issue, don't we?
Then-
And John, assignability.
Got to have assignability, don't we?
Every day, people walk in there to us,
Mm-hmm.
and they will not pay a third party for your funeral, be in the funeral home.
Right.
Your beneficiary has $1 million policy and cannot pay for your funeral. That does not help you or your family.
So we have to say that we need to ask our HR director, we need to ask those we have the policy, is this policy assignable?
Assignable.
And most of the time that happens with job insurance.
Job insurances,
That
exactly.
we find out that they are not assignable.
They're not assignable.
But Carl, while
Cannot
we
help
got you going, tell us what we need to know about a will. What's some knowledge that we need to know about a will?
You have to know where that will is located.
Okay.
The person that you've instructed to leave the information, they have to be a trustworthy person. And they know exactly what you want, and they will carry it out to the letter. And if your family doesn't like what's in it, they just move on to your next paragraph. So you have to get it written down.
Okay.
You have to get it witnessed by someone that's not going to take advantage of it. And then you have to have it notarized. Put it in a safe place. Make several copies. Don't give it to that one kid that's going to tear it up.
Okay.
So make sure it's in a safe place. And your instructions are very clear.
Queen, do I have to be wealthy to have a will? Is it only for rich folks?
No, Mr. Becker, it's for everybody.
Okay.
All of us have treasures. It may not be money, but it may just be a piece of furniture, an antique piece of furniture or something that one of your grandchildren has admired. And they told you this for years, and you want them to have it. But if you don't put that in your will, there's no guarantee that they're going to get that when death occurs.
King, how important is it that we can change it?
It's very important. Anytime you have a disagreement with one of your beneficiaries, or they're not acting right, because you want someone.
We can cut them out the wheel.
That's right. You want someone that's trustworthy.
Okay.
And you want someone that's going to do the right thing. And people change.
That's right.
People change, and when they change, you need to change.
You can change that wheel.
Get it right.
Pastor, buddy, you ever had any regrets when you went with your first mind?
Yeah, Brother John, I regret I stayed a sinner so long.
All right.
My first mind led me into a world of sin, and I regret I stayed a sinner so long. But thanks be unto God, I had a change of mind.
And you was able to move on.
And I was able to move on and recover.
Pastor, you tell me any regret from that first mind decision?
Yes, I've had some regrets, but I'm like James Cleveland. I tell him, please be patient with me.
I didn't know James
God is
Cleveland
not
sung that.
through with me yet. But when he get through with me, I shall come forth as pure gold.
Carolyn, any regrets from those first mind decisions?
Yeah, the one regret is I married too young. John.
Okay.
Had no idea what marriage was about, what life was about, being with another person and consequences of those. So I regret in marrying that young and not knowing what to do. But as they stated earlier, God gives you a second chance. He gives you another chance every day to get it right and get it done.
So we're telling everybody, get those pre-need, get those
done.
wills, get those insurance.
That's
so
right.
you won't have regrets when someone passes away.
Amen.
And watch us every Sunday morning at 5:30 a.m. on Channel 21. Every Saturday night at 7 o'clock p.m. right here on Channel 34.1. And every Saturday morning on Heaven 87, that's 9:70 a.m. on your dial at 10 o'clock a.m. May God bless you. May God keep you is our prayer. We are stepping up the level of our services. Our goal is to treat your loved ones with the respect they deserve. We are taking our services to new heights. We are stepping in a new direction. Step into the new millennium with Golden Gate Funeral, where service begins and never ends.